Bob Kissinger earlier tonight, and we have 4 more that are going in tonight, 4 very worthy individuals. The first person tonight you'll be hearing a lot from is a WBBA founding member. He's also the founding member of the Little League's girls fast pitch softball. Today, after being on the board now for 5 years, I actually learned that his name was actually Bob. Boomer is the guy that I know is one of the most generous people that we have on the board. He's also our secretary. Did tremendous things on the field that get completely overshadowed by the work that he does off of it. So at this time, our second inductee tonight into the West Bend Baseball Association Wall of Fame, Bob Meyer.
Well, good evening. I've got a couple of tough acts to follow. Those last gentlemen were very impressive. I'd like to thank you for this great honor and being recognized by the Baseball Association. I'd also like to congratulate my other fellow honorees tonight. I think I need to thank, first off, my family for their support and being here tonight. My mom, Pat Meyer, my sister Lori, husband Tom, my brother Jim, who played with me many, many years, his wife Gail, and my son Andy. And lastly, I'd be very remiss if I didn't recognize my wife Sandy. She's been very supportive for all the years and the time and the effort. And she also put together all those baskets in the bucket raffle. So thank you, Sandy. This is kind of hard to believe. 15 years ago, I got together with Willie, Doug Gonring, Doug Hall, a number of other Mitch Knox, a number of other players, just ex-ball players. And we've all come up through the ranks at various levels in the West Bend community. And we said, how can we get together? What can we do to support and promote baseball in West Bend? It's such a rich tradition through our lives, and will hopefully continue on. And so somebody said, well, let's raise some funds. Well, how do we do that? I mean, we're just ex-ball players, we're kind of dumb. And so we said, okay, let's have some fundraisers, we'll do a cash raffle, we'll do this and that. And somebody said, well, you need to be a nonprofit organization. Okay. So we jumped through all these hoops and formed a 501c3, which is not a fun process, I can tell you that, dealing with the IRS. But long story short, that's what we did, and thus the WBBA was formed. And when I was looking through some of my notes from when we started this, I actually found our original mission statement. And it's West Bend Baseball Association, established 2003, so that's 15 years ago. And our mission statement at that time, I thought was very poignant, it was very simple, and I think it still holds true today. And it says, this association is committed to preserve, promote, and support youth, high school, and adult baseball in the West Bend community. Very straightforward, and I think that's it speaks volumes of what we've done in the past 15 years. I thought it was interesting too, some of you might know the original cast of characters. It was Doug Hall, Brad Burns, Chad Bauer, Bill Albrecht, Bill Becker, Doug Gonring, Mitch Knox, myself, Willie Miller, and Steve Scharr. So if you know any of those characters, tell them thank you. So we're the group of guys that started this literally on the back of a bar napkin, and it's amazing how far we've come, much less that we'd ever have a banquet and have almost 250 people here. So thank you very much for that. I was trying to think of what I was going to talk about tonight, and I was told to be brief, which I will. I was fortunate enough, I was born and raised in West Bend, with the exception of college. I've lived here my whole life, and I was able to play, I think, all levels that's available here. I started in the rec department ball. I was like 7 or 8 years old. There was a nice program that the rec league put on in West Bend. Also, a few years later, when I was old enough to drive in high school summers, I taught for 2 years in that rec department league with Bob Weavitrow and Steve Soxy. Some of you know him. So that kind of is full circle, as they were talking with Drew mentioned earlier. Little League, had great time in Little League, pick up games, played for 7-Up. Mitch Knox's father, Kent Knox, was our coach. We had like 6 sets of brothers on that team. It was amazing. It was an incredible group. The Albrechts, the Knoxes, the Woods, Meyers, who am I missing, Jim? It was great. It was great. Did that for 4 years. And then moved on to Senior League, played for First National Bank. The late Bob Beckwire was our coach. Again, wonderful time. And then took it to the next level, and I was fortunate enough to play high school ball for Coach Jim Cahoon. He, why I don't know, had the trust in me and gave me the opportunity to be a starting catcher as a freshman. That was unheard of back in 1973, 74. So I was fortunate enough to play 4 years at West Bend West as a catcher under Coach Cahoon. The late Chuck Schroeder, who was the assistant coach and JV coach, he was very instrumental in helping me learn my skills. He's also an inductee in our Wall of Fame as well. After school, I went on and played some Lakes ball, a little bit with the Lithias, primarily with the Barton team. I did that for about 10 years. We were not very good, and the Levitraus and my brother will support that. But as the program says, there was no team, and I mean no team, that could beat us in beer drinking after these games. We had one strength and we stuck with that. We knew our limitations, so. But you know, in the years I played at all those different levels, yeah, I would summarize my playing days as saying I had great coaches. I was fortunate to form some great memories, which I'll never forget. And like Drew said, the important thing is lifelong friends. And a lot of those are here today. And that's what it's all about. And I hope these young players, I hope you remember that. Like you said, live in the moment and don't forget your friends. And they'll be with you the rest of your life. And that's critical. I would say even outside of playing, I'm kind of a behind the scenes guy with the organization. I'm the treasurer, so I get to cash your checks and pay the bills. I've been doing that for a number of years, and it's a great honor to be recognized here tonight for being somebody that's kind of behind the scenes. I would summarize by saying that the 2 greatest accomplishments that I've had in my playing and post-playing days, as Craig touched on, was as part of the Little League Board of Directors. I was on there for a couple of years. Was tasked with 2 other gentlemen with starting the Little League girls fast pitch softball. As I researched it, West Bend was the only community of size in the area that did not have this. And so the high school teams were getting killed every game, every year. And it was just amazing to me that we didn't have something like this. So we were tasked with starting this league. And long story short is we had no direction, and I think we were successful. To this day, the program, from what I understand, is going very strong. The girls are competitive. The teams at the high school level are way more competitive than they were back then, and it's acting as a feeder system, and I'm very proud that we were able to get that going. And then lastly and foremost is being part of forming this organization. Like I said, it was just a bunch of guys sitting together brainstorming and wanting to give back. And I think everybody, the common theme here tonight is giving back in some manner to the community and to kids to further this community, and that's what I think we've done. In the past 15 years, we've raised and donated over $125,000 in field improvements to Carl Cuss Field, scholarships, which we offer 2 every year, and equipment, etc. And I think that's something we can all be very proud of. I'll summarize by saying thank you. I appreciate this honor. It's very humbling. I thank you for your support of West Bend baseball in this community, and let's keep it up. Thank you.